All right, welcome everybody to episode 8 of Aggressively Speaking. My name is Tony Dabrowski.
I'm Troy Frank.
And welcome back to our podcast. So, Troy, we have a bunch of juicy stuff to talk about this week.
Very juicy.
Very, very juicy. So the Tigers'
Wet
first
and sloppy.
the Tigers' first spring training game was today. We'll talk about that.
Oh yeah, that's about as juicy as a white ass chicken tender right there.
What?
What are you trying to say, dude? I was literally just eating chicken tenders.
He only said that because he chicken is on his mind.
Chicken tender was on my mind. Chicken is what I was trying to say.
He's asking me to make him some. That's what he's saying.
No, you ever seen a very white ass chicken strip? Nothing on it. No.
Why do you have to say ass? Just say white piece of chicken.
Because
Sounds like
I
you're
can't,
saying a chicken's ass is white. I'm very
I'm
disturbed.
I'm trying to stress how exactly white this piece of chicken is. Very unseasoned, not breaded whatsoever.
Welcome to our podcast.
That's the Detroit Tigers.
Okay, they're a white ass of a chicken. So we're going to talk about, speaking of baseball, the Houston Astros, because they got some more stuff going on that is not as juicy as a chicken's behind, apparently. We also want to touch on the Detroit Pistons. How you like this shirt? I like.
Yeah, you like that one?
This Pistons shirt, I really.
I dug
dig.
his red jersey. I see. Maybe me, John and I are alone in this, but we actually liked your red jersey.
I ain't mind it.
See?
I liked it.
Were people saying I agree with you that that jersey sucks? Last episode.
One of my co-hosts on Trash Talk, I showed it to him, and he's like, "Yeah, it's kind of big, kind of ugh." I don't know.
It's lengthy, but it fits you otherwise. Like if it wasn't as long, it'd be perfect.
It's like it's tailored, dude.
It's tailored into a dress for you.
Lovely. Well, regardless, we're going to mention the Pistons today as well. But first of all, we obviously got to start with the... Did you just throw your water cap?
I dropped it.
Oh, my God. This episode is going to be interesting.
I think this is the longest it's ever taken to introduce one single topic.
Well, you went into your topic of chickens behinds, and now I'm, confused on what's happening. So... we got to start with the Lions because they are in the news once again. Remember when we were Lions free? How nice that was.
Oh,
it's been a week. I'm now stressed out over
my
this
tumor's
football
starting
team.
to throb again.
God. Oh, my God.
That blue and silver tumor.
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ. Okay. That's enough.
John's about to leave. He's about to end.
I'm just going to stop recording.
He's going to give me my money back. He's going to kick us out.
I mean, come on, just stop putting weight onto what I say so that we can just keep going.
I hope the people listening understand why we're just so shook right now. But anywho, remember when the Lions, when we were Lions free, how nice that was? Yeah, it's been a week. I'm not stressed out because of all the Lions talk. So
I've seen under your hat, your hair's white from all the stress.
I'm starting to get a little gray hairs.
Yeah.
So it's not good whatsoever. But the Lions are doing stuff. So it's been a crazy week. The week started with Adam Schefter reporting that the Lions are shopping Darius Slay, essentially. There's a belief around the league that he will be traded. What?
Said breaking news. They've been shopping him since they ended their season last year. This prior season.
Well, he wasn't actually hey, we're taking calls on him.
Yeah, but I mean the announcement of, hey, Darius Slay is not going to be on the team next year should just be open season for other teams to start calling in.
Well, that's
But
not what Bob
neither
Quinn.
here nor
That's
there.
not what Bob Quinn said. There's still a chance he's on the team next year. In fact, they're working on extensions as we speak. But no, the week started with Schefter reporting that he might be traded. There are teams interested. Any deal involving Slay would involve the team that traded for him, giving him a new extension, and then the Lions would also want value in return. And then that piece of news transitioned into, I believe it was the next day, when, of all people, Bernie from Local 4 reporting.
My man
that,
Bernie.
Your boy.
With his segments about just dogs speaking and kids laughing.
Let me say there's a reason I chose Fox 2 over Channel 4. That's all I'll say. But yeah, he, of all people, reported that Matthew Stafford is on the trade block, which Bob Quinn shot down immediately. And then Twitter went into a collective coup throughout the day on Tuesday. I mean, Twitter was just an absolute war zone on Tuesday because of that trade rumor. And then I think it was Wednesday, Mel Kiper Jr. of ESPN releases latest mock draft. And he had the Lions taking 2 at 3 overall, so that sent Twitter into another collective coup.
It's just pouring gas onto a fire.
The gas is on the fire at this point, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. So here's when the flame just went poof. Vegas released their odds of who's going to draft Tua. The Lions are the co-favorites. So now the flame is just, the house is on fire, Troy, okay?
Yeah.
The house is on fire here. Everyone's thinking that Tua is going to be a Lion, and
we're here to put it out.
essentially. And then last night, the Lions released Damon Snacks Harrison. So, like I said, it's been a crazy, crazy week for the Lions.
Here's what I got to say about all this. And I've seen kind of what you've said about it. The Lions are, in fact, rebuilding. And they just don't want to tell nobody.
You're so wrong about that.
Why else? I mean,
So
here, let me try and surmise what I mean by this. They're shopping Darius Slay. They release Snacks Harrison, who, I mean, was threatening to retire anyway. So
Snacks wasn't going to be back anyway.
Yeah. But, I mean, they basically said we have no choice and released him. There's constant reports about the Lions taking Tua, and the story isn't about them trading down as much as it is them actually drafting him. They said they're not looking to trade Matthew Stafford, which, in my head, means they're going to do that option of keeping him for the single season to basically, usher in Tua, if this is the route they're going to take. The only thing is, why, if they're rebuilding, why are, Quinn Trish is still here. That part, it doesn't make sense on paper, but that's the part I go, it's the Lions. Why, there's no reason to have an established bad, duo of a GM and head coach be here to usher in that new rebuilding stage. But it's the Lions. There is no reason for it. But I think as a franchise, they're trying to head into a rebuild, but they're doing it the Lions way.
They're not rebuilding. Martha Ford is 94 years old, and she's made it very clear in previous years that she wants to win. She does not want to go through a rebuild. If the Lions wanted to rebuild, Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia would not be here. Martha Ford would not have released a statement saying they want to be playoff contenders next year and they want to play meaningful games in December if they wanted to go into a rebuild. I understand all the moves they're doing right now point towards a rebuild, but I promise you, this team is not in a rebuild. They're going to spend their cap space this offseason. They have upwards of $50 million, I believe, in cap. They have the 3rd overall pick in the draft. They are going to use that to take a piece that's going to help them next season. Should they rebuild? Probably. Are they rebuilding? Absolutely not. That's my stance on that.
And, I mean, yours does make sense a lot in a way that, the way that things are looking towards the future at this very moment is what I'm basing this on. And it's leaning towards a rebuild the way they're looking at it.
It is, releasing Snacks, who, again, he wasn't going to be here next year anyway, and he fell off a cliff last year with his play. I mean, he was not the same player whatsoever.
Yeah.
But that's still a piece that you consider to be an anchor on your defensive line. Trading Darius Slay, I've talked about this before. I don't know why you would trade him in the first place.
It's so senseless.
I don't understand it whatsoever.
Him being a voice in the locker room, defiant or not, is not enough to, just shrug off his, production.
Well, that's why they're going to do this.
Oh,
it's because he's like Quandre. He's like Golden Tate. He's like Glover Quinn. They're more talkative, and they don't want that in the locker room, despite what you bring to the table football-wise. And We could spend a whole show talking about that, but I'd rather not because I'll get a headache.
I'm already there.
Oh boy. So, trading Darius Slay. I'm going to tell you what they're probably going to do. They're probably going to trade Slay for like a, I don't know, second round pick or whatever. They're going to sign Chris Harris Jr. or Byron Jones in free agency. Give them a buttload of money. Back up the Brinks truck for them because they fit that Patriot way more than a Darius Slay. And then they're going to take like maybe a Derek Brown third overall, who Derek Brown's a nice player, and he would fill a massive hole for this team now, a defensive tackle. And the Lions are going to go into the season feeling pretty about themselves, and they're probably going to go like 6-10.
I don't know if you saw my tweet about Chris Harris Jr.
I did
when
not.
that was like, beginning the news cycle of like he's tired of being where he is. He wants to go somewhere else.
Denver, yeah.
Yeah, and people were like, yeah, let's bring him on. The Lions should really do this. And I was like, if I'm Chris Harris Jr., I'd avoid the Lions like the freaking plague.
If you're any free agent, why would you want to come here?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I say to people who are like, oh, we've got over $50 million cap space. We'll be fine. Who's going to want to come here? Like, Richard Sherman is a prime example. He literally turned down less money to go play for San Francisco because he knows he would win there, which he is. Played in the Super Bowl. And the Lions are getting ready to pick third overall.
And as far as like the Martha Ford saying that she wants to win now next season, I have a feeling she changed her mind on that.
She's not that delusional.
And they did say, I did see a report that said like something along the lines of, they did say that to appease the fan base. Now, I mean, it didn't, but that's the Fords for you. They don't know what the fans really want. But I saw a thing that was like, yeah, we said this because that's what the fan base wants to hear. And that sounds to me like we don't really believe in that announcement. We'd rather rebuild than actually win.
So then fire Quinn Trisha.
Well,
if you wanted to rebuild, why would you bring them back? That makes no sense whatsoever.
It doesn't make any sense, but it's the Lions. Neither does trading Slay.
We can't use that excuse
but neither
every
does
time.
Trading Slay when you're trying to win now. It's the Lions. Nothing makes sense.
I don't think
neither of these things make sense. If you're trying to win now, why trade Slay? But if you're trying to rebuild, why keep Quinn Trisha? Neither of these things make sense in either direction.
No, I agree there, but I still don't agree with the point that Martha kind of flip-flopped. I don't think she flip-flopped. She, like I said, she's 94 years old. Like, she wants to win. She's proven before she's not afraid to can people in the middle of the season in order to send the franchise into a quote-unquote better direction, If they wanted to rebuild, fire them. Why would you bring them back? I just don't get that whatsoever.
I don't know. Maybe Patricia and Quinn were whispering enough sweet nothings in her ear to keep...
Absolutely not. Guys like Quinn Trisha can't whisper sweet nothing in their ear when they've won jack shit. That's just not how this works. Yeah. They haven't won anything. That's why I don't want them back.
But
that's why I don't believe in them. People on Twitter.
I don't either.
People
on
Twitter
that does.
They come at me and they're like, "Why don't you believe in them? Have some faith." Where? What faith?
But
they won 9 games in 2 years.
If you are Martha Ford and you do want to win now, there's no reason to keep them on. Period. For any reason, you would have fired them
if
after
they wanted
week
to
15.
Win. If they wanted to win,
yes, you would have fired them after week 15. You just explained why they shouldn't be here if they wanted to win.
If they wanted to win, I think keeping them was the route they were always going to go. They were never going to fire them and then try to win next season.
They weren't. I mean,
the excuse that they
like
used.
You built up your own reason why they shouldn't be here.
What did I say they were going to do all season long?
You have no faith.
What did I say they were going to do all season long? They were going to use the injury card, and they were going to say, we're going to give it one more year, see what they can do with more guys in here that fit into that Patriot way role. I said they were going to do that from the get-go since Stafford's back fell over, and that's exactly what they did. I don't agree with that whatsoever. You know that.
Yeah.
But they were never going to fire them.
I don't know.
And if they did, then we could be talking about a rebuild, and we could be talking about Tua Tagovailoa being the 3rd overall pick. But That's not happening. And like I said, right now, I think they win maybe 6 games next year.
Where's Rod Wood in all of this?
He's like the puppet in the background.
I feel like the president of football operations should maybe have a little bit of a louder voice.
He's not the president.
Whatever he is.
No, his title is president, but he's not like that's not what he does. He just kind of sits there.
He just boasts up Bob Quinn.
He just
kind of
he just kind of sits there.
Rubs his shoulders.
You're doing great, Bob. He like rubs his leg. You're doing great, Bob. With his dress shirt all wrinkled and stuff. But yeah, I mean,
he rolls Bob Quinn's sleeves up for him.
Oh my god. Like I don't understand this team. I don't know. No one does.
This is why people decide to go Lions free.
I was just about to say that.
When you talk about them, it just doesn't make sense to talk about them.
That's why no one wants to be a Lions fan.
Like, literally talking about things they're doing currently sounds like a hypothetical and a stupid one at that. Like, when you have, like, that little, like, kid that wants to talk sports with you, like the little 5-6-year-old that is like, oh, do you think Stafford could win the MVP next year kind of thing? Like, because he's, like, so idolizing the players that are on the team now that, his hypotheticals just, like, seem so ridiculous. That's the Lions. He's that little kid that likes to just say whatever to you because he likes the players and the coaches that they have now because he doesn't know any different.
I don't know what the Lions are. I really don't. I mean, we're less than a month away from free agency. Like I said, my gut is telling me they're going to probably trade Slay. They're going to go sign a Chris Harris Jr. probably because there's reports that they were trying to deal Slay for him at the trade deadline. They're going to get him. They're going to draft probably Derek Brown. I can't imagine they're going to shell out big money at Chris Harris Jr. and then go get Jeff Okudah when you have bigger holes to address.
I got a question. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think this is a good question. When the Pistons were at a crossroads between rebuilding and not, I'd say they've done it a couple times in the last 2 or 3 years.
Pistons?
Yeah, the Pistons. Do you think
rebuilds?
Yeah,
now they're rebuilding.
Yeah, now they're rebuilding, but like
second.
the times where they were quote unquote rebuilding,
like when Stan Van did the Reggie trade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think it was harder to predict whether they were going to try and rebuild or not at those points than the Lions now?
Repeat that, but instead of they say like Pistons or Lions.
When the Pistons were flirting with rebuilds in the past 2 or 3 seasons, was it more or less difficult to pick out the future for them than it is with the Lions?
I think it was less difficult to pick out the future because the Pistons actually made moves that made you kind of curious in a sense. Like when they traded for Blake Griffin, I thought that was a little curious. Because it was Blake Griffin,
Yeah.
It brought a little bit of excitement back towards the Pistons just because it was Blake Griffin.
But it was kind of one of those things where they're like 10 games back of 500 and they're trading for an all-star.
Yeah.
It's like they should be outright rebuilding, no questions about it, and then they trade for an all-star. It's like that doesn't make any sense.
But
kind of like this right now where it's like they should be outright rebuilding, but they're trying to get pieces and sign free agents. It's like.
But my point to answer your question is that, like, for example, when they did the Blake trade, you really didn't know what the outcome would be. While the Lions, a lot of people are going into the season really expecting them to lose, and they're probably expecting this to be Quintricia's last year.
Oh,
honestly,
if they get another year.
I think if you sat Lion fans down inside Ford Field and said, "Everyone, raise your hand if you think this is Quintricia's last year," more than half the stadium's hands would go up in the air. Like seriously, I think there's more people that probably think this is going to fail than people who think this is going to actually work out.
Tony, I want to go to a game this year.
I'm not going inside Ford Field. I refuse to go inside Ford Field.
Would you go inside if you brought in a sign that said "Sell the team"?
I would never go inside Ford Field. Absolutely not. I'm done.
I'd pay like
That's kind of
$10 tickets to
that's
bring in
kinda-
a sign that said "Sell the team."
If you want to do that, go right ahead. I'll cheer for you. I'm not paying my money towards them, especially going to the games. That's kind of Valeni of me to say, but
Yeah, you think you've gone full Valeni and don't pay money to this organization if they want to treat us like this?
I mean, it's just. First of all, I've never gone to a Lions game where they won, so I think I'm kind of bad luck.
What are you, 0-2, 0-3?
I'm 0-4.
0-4?
Week 17 Packers in 2017. Thanksgiving Steelers. I think that's it. So 0-3. But still, those are all big games that the Lions lost.
Did I take you to all three of those?
You were there.
I was there Thanksgiving
Yes.
and for Steelers.
Yes.
All three?
All three we went with together.
Damn. Sorry.
My bad. But yeah, I don't want to go to Ford Field. Football games are also like people get sloshed there, and they're kind of out of control.
That's fun though.
They're out of control.
You go to a game where you get somebody that's really into the game, and they get sloshed. It's really fun to listen to them just rant and rave. Or at least I have fun with it, because then I get more into it.
You had fun. I was
No, I was not having fun during that Thanksgiving Day game, if you remember that.
Yeah.
The last fourth quarter, I said 2 words the entire 15 minutes.
What 2 words?
No, I just said, like, about 2 words.
Oh, I thought you meant you said the same 2 words over and over again. I'm like,
No.
what? F you? Like, what?
No, like, I was just sitting in silence watching
I remember
the disaster unfold. Yeah.
I remember you sitting, like, literally like this. I'm like, uh-oh.
For 15 minutes straight.
I'm like, uh-oh.
And then the first words out of my mouth was, "Let's go."
I when I go to sporting events, I usually stay till the end to record my post game. You would know this. That was the first time and only time I've actually gotten up and left.
And even then, it was like I was telling you, like, with 14 minutes left in the last quarter, I was like, "Let's go," and you're like, "Oh, hold on," and it was like you waited until the last minute.
It was only a 10-point game at that point. So, but yeah, with like a minute to go, they were losing. I'm like, all right, we're out. But regardless, yeah, I'd rather not go inside Ford Field. But if you want to, go right ahead.
Well, if you're not going, I'm not going. I just wanted to get a kick out of trying to put ourselves on TV with some "Sell the Team" signs.
Well, people are going there with "Sell the Team" signs anyway.
That's
I mean,
true.
you remember the flag, the notorious flag that was waving. I think that's the Tampa Bay game. That was glorious. Was glorious.
I want to bring back the paper bags on our heads.
Fox, shout out to Fox, by the way. I still have this picture. During the Tampa Bay game, they got this guy on camera. Paper bags, same old Lions.
I love that.
Yeah.
I want some SOL jerseys, paper bags.
It's going to be worse.
Sign the team.
It's going to be worse if they bottom out this year.
Oh,
the stadium might be lit on fire if they're like 3-7. I almost said 3-7-1. I don't tie again. If they're like 3-8 or something around week 12. First of all, people won't go, but the people that are going to be there are going to be in paper bags. They're going to have flags. They're going to have T-shirts, and they're going to light the place on fire.
Maybe I think too lowly of the fans of the Lions, but I think that place will be packed. 3-8,
absolutely
8-3.
not. Did you see Week 17 against the Packers? That place was empty.
Because
empty.
It's the very last game of the season. You're talking halfway through.
Well, even the Tampa Bay game in which the Lions got absolutely creamed. I remember the beat writers saying it's like half full.
Wasn't that at Tampa Bay?
It was in Detroit.
I'm thinking of Washington, the Washington game. They were.
Well, Washington is also, before they got their crap together and fired Bruce Allen and hired Ron Rivera, they were also the most toxic organization in sports.
Because I remember when they were going to that game, the Washington beat writers were this is the lowest attendance in NFL
That's
history.
what Lion fans should do. They should just refuse to go.
Yeah.
But people are going to Lion games to do what you just said, though. Like my buddy Tyler.
I'll probably be watching just for that.
One of my co-hosts on Trash Talk, he went to Week 17. He got free tickets. He brought a sign that said, something for Chase. Tank for Chase or
Tank
whatever.
for Chase.
Yeah. But it was more clever than that. It was like
Race for Chase.
Race for Chase. There you go. Thank you.
Oh, wow. I made that up.
Yeah, no, that was absolutely it. Race for Chase. And then he said, sell the team in the bottom corner. But yeah. You know, it's just I don't get this team. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Makes my head hurt.
I'm stressed. I'm not oozing over this team. But
Tumors throbbing.
oh god. We'll see though. I mean, I don't know.
Draft day is gonna be big.
People have invited me to like draft parties and stuff, and I'm like, no. Like you don't want to be by me if the Lions actually like.
I can't get a good camera angle set up when I'm watching my TV. That's what you're telling them.
Like, you don't want to be by me if the Lions screw up this pick. Like, if they take Tua, I'm going to be fuming. Fuming.
Oh, if they do take Tua.
If they take Tua, I'm going to be fuming because that means they're going to rebuild with Quintricia, and I don't want to see that whatsoever.
I'd rather see them.
Because you don't.
I'd rather see them start a rebuild than
with Quintricia. Think about that for a second. Do you really want to see Quintricia rebuild this organization? You're guaranteeing them at least another 2-3 years. If they take Tua, as Mel Kiper said, the Lions get a free excuse card to say, listen, I know we went like 6-10 this year, but we drafted Tua. We want to see, he's our guy. Stafford wasn't our guy. He's our guy. We want to see what he looks like next year and probably the year after. Think about that for a little second. Do you really want to see that? Because I don't. And I can guarantee you half the city of Detroit doesn't want to see that either.
Maybe I have a little too...
Say it. I'm going to be like the Green Goblin from the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Join me, Spider-Man.
Finish it. Come on, finish it. Say what you want to say.
Maybe.
Oh, stop.
I have for some reason, just ounce of confidence that even if they start a rebuild, they still get fired at the end of the year.
I don't think so. If they draft Tua, they're going to say, we drafted Tua, he's our guy. We didn't get to see him this year because of the bad hip. Let's trade Stafford. You get another year with him.
Here's the thing. They draft Tua, they keep Stafford around, use Stafford. It's like, hey, you still got the QB. We still got money to use. If you can't get it done with Stafford, we're trading him. We're firing you.
As we mentioned already, it's the Lions. I can't see the Lions doing that whatsoever. I just can't. I mean...
That'd be the way I look at it. It's like if I got to keep Quintricia around for one more year, that's how I do it. You got Stafford. We're giving you, a ton of money to use. And we only asked for the one pick. I only want Tua. The rest of them are all yours. And if you can't get it done at the end of the year, then sayonara.
I don't even think Martha would allow that because they're smart in the sense that they know this is not Matthew Stafford. Like they really do want Matthew to stay here and win. I don't think they're going to sign off on Tua being the pick. I really don't. Like if Bob Quinn went to Martha and said we're going to draft Tua, I legitimately think she would be like, no.
Well, she loved Jim Caldwell.
No, listen to me. I think if they went to Martha and said, we want to take Tua third overall, she would legit say, that's not a win now move like I want you to do. Pick someone else or you're fired. I swear to you. I think that would happen.
See, I think the whole draft Tua thing is coming from the fact that we both think that they're doing something different. You think they're trying to win now. I think they're trying to rebuild, but in a Lions way. So I think just based on that fact, I think we both have two different takes on the Tua thing. And I think that's where it stems from. And if we both agreed on where they went and had two different takes, then it would be something to talk about. But I think the root of the difference comes from the thing we already discussed for 15 minutes.
So you think they're pulling like a Pistons rebuild in a sense?
Like an old Pistons, like a 2017, 2018
That's what I'm saying.
Pistons rebuild.
Not what the Pistons are doing now. No, like an old Pistons rebuild.
Where it's like they rebuild, try to win. Rebuild, try to win.
Yeah.
It's like weird, yeah.
I don't think they're doing that. Obviously, that we've just been talking about that throughout the past half hour. But yeah. The moral of the story: people are inviting me to draft parties. I'm like, you don't want to be buying me during the draft. You just don't want to be buying me during the draft.
I'm still pulling for Isaiah Simmons. He's falling in in mock drafts. He's falling. I've seen him recently at number 9. I don't know what the hell that's about. I'm still rooting for Isaiah Simmons to be drafted 3rd.
I still like Isaiah Simmons, but
I know you're on board the Okuda train.
I like Okuda, and I really do like Isaiah Simmons too. But after releasing Snacks, I can make a legitimate argument that the defensive line, and particularly the defensive tackle position, is the biggest need right now. They got nobody on that D-line outside of Trey Flowers.
Simmons can double as a lineman and a linebacker. So
yeah, but you still need that like run-stuffing guy up the middle. And, I mean, they're not going to get Chris Jones from Kansas City. There's reports about DJ Reader, which
I'd sink a lot of my mid to late rounders into a blitzing middle linebacker.
Blitzing. You know the Lions don't blitz, right?
That's true.
That sounds sexy, but Matt Patricia doesn't blitz. So I'm sorry to break your heart there, but
dude, what kind of person that runs a 3-4 defense doesn't blitz?
Matt Patricia.
That is just absolutely disgusting. You have a 3-man line, and you're not blitzing. That is just
Matt Patricia's philosophy: send 3 all the time. Don't blitz. Just lock down your man in coverage.
If you're not going to blitz, at least run a 4-3. Come on now.
Not the pencil guy's way. Not how he rolls.
And
but it was Paul Pasqualoni's defense.
And now he's going to screw it up. Let's say he gets fired, That seems like a hypothetical to me. Let's say he does get fired.
When? Middle of the season? After the season?
Just any point in time. It seems like a hypothetical. It seems like he's going to be here for a decade.
If they draft Tua, he might be, but continue.
Let's just say he gets fired. That defense is going to be royally screwed for whoever comes in here because now they got a bunch of 3-4 guys on a traditionally 4-3 defense.
If the Lions rebuild, period, they're screwed. Half these guys are like Patriot cast-offs. It's
like rebuilding the Patriots.
Like, if the Lions actually, let's say hypothetically, fantasy land here, let's say the Lions are, again, 3-8 around week 12 or whatever, and they get curve stomped on Thanksgiving. I think they would pull the plug right then and there, and they would fire Quinn Trisha.
If Stafford gets hurt in week 7.
No. Stop with the injury excuse. The Pistons didn't use the injury excuse. I'm not aiming this at you, by the way. I'm just saying in general.
No, I know. But the Pistons aren't the Lions either.
They're not, but the moral of the story still stands.
Yeah. And
no more injury excuse.
I think he could. Yes, they said that week 7, let's say they're 3-4 or 3-3, and then he gets injured, they lose that game. Well, we were, trending towards the playoffs, and
I don't think Martha would do that again. I really don't. I don't think the Lions would do that again.
What if they started 3-0? Stafford gets injured.
Then you could use that excuse. But even then, it's kind of like...
Because if Stafford had gotten injured a couple games prior in this season, people would have been like, oh, wow, they were really geared towards a playoff push.
I say this all the time. I mean, teams have major injuries all the time. Sometimes a quarterback. They usually don't fall over unless... you're not drafting and signing well. Yeah. So that's my point. But going back to fantasy,
Stafford gets injured, you got Tua behind him.
Oh, stop it. So let's go back to fantasy land. Let's say the Lions fire Quinn Trisha.
Go back to where the Lions exist in fantasy land.
Let's say they fire Quinn Trisha in the middle of the season. Regardless of who comes in here, they're in trouble because these aren't their players. You're going to be paying Trey Flowers a lot of money.
Not only are these not their players, but they're not going to have the guys that are building blocks for a rebuild either.
No.
I mean, you're going to have Stafford?
You're going to have Trey Flowers making a big load of money. You're going to have a cornerback making a big load of money, whether that's Darius Slay, a Chris Harris, so on and so forth. You're going to have a bunch of draft picks that aren't yours. Kenny Galladay's probably going to have a fat contract. And Kenny's Kenny. He's really good.
Yeah.
But he's a building block. But, again, that's just another example. You won't have money, really. It's going to be a really yucky rebuild. Despite popular belief, I want to see this work. Because I don't want to go through a rebuild. I don't. Every other team's going through a rebuild right now. One I'm repping right now, we'll talk about in a second here. Repping another one that's about to start their season. And then the Red Wings are obviously rebuilding. Everyone's rebuilding, and it sucks. I don't want to go through another one, but like,
I'm
the Lions haven't given me any proof that they're going to do this.
Maybe I'm a little bit of a masochist, a little bit, but I love a good rebuild.
No, you don't.
I mean, not as
on
much.
2K.
Not as much as like a playoff push, but I mean, let's be honest. The Lions are never playoff pushing, even when they're good.
They were playoff pushing for a while.
Yeah, but I love a good rebuild. Pistons. This Pistons rebuild is going to be fun for me.
I feel that's a good transition because screw the Lions. Like I said, we'll see what they do, but I mean, I just don't know. Like I've mentioned 100 times already, we both don't have a lot of faith.
Even with the things we think they're going to do, the moves don't make sense.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of off-season speculation right now. So once they actually start doing stuff, that'll be better to get a sense of what they're actually doing. But for right now, there's nothing we can say more than it's the Lions. On to the Pistons, though. The Pistons are doing stuff I never thought they'd ever do. And I know you're oozing about it. This is your dream. This is your dream. How long have you wanted the Pistons to do this?
2017.
I thought you were about to say like 20 years. I'm like, Jesus. You're what, 22? 21?
I mean, I was really hoping they'd do it successfully in like 2013, 2014 when they had Drummond as like a rookie, you know, when they were really just starting their rebuild.
I got scared.
What's going on? I don't know. I saw Tony look over at John, and I just got scared for a second.
I thought that sound was the iPad, but I think that was your phone.
That was probably my phone or Tony's phone or something.
That wasn't me. My phone. My ringer's off.
Who cares? Keep moving.
That was my phone.
Oh,
okay.
whatever.
So no, I really wanted that rebuild to take like really work in 2013 when Drummond was a rookie. I wanted them to draft the right guy in that 2013 draft class that was really tough to pinpoint who was going to be good, who wasn't.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and they just fell flat on their face with KCP.
Well, KCP was looking hot for a second. Let's be real here.
2016, he had a couple good games.
A couple? He was doing really good. But no, continue.
Yeah, they fell. I mean, in total, they fell
in
flat on
total,
their face.
yes.
And then just things kept getting worse with the Stan Van era, and that was just a failed attempt at, you know, capitalizing on a good draft pick with Drummond. So they had to rebuild again, and I was kind of hoping 2017, 2018, 2019 that was going to happen. Nothing. They just kept trying for that 41-41 season, and look where it got them. But they've done it. They've done it, and I'm a glazed donut.
It took a while, but they did it.
They did it.
Just
hope they can do something now with it.
The Pistons are in
God
full-blown
forbid.
rebuild.
It's nuts.
They traded Andre, got nothing for him, but they traded him, and that's the point.
We haven't been in this position with the Pistons since the Austin Day years.
Oh, thanks for that. Now, that is a name I've not heard in a long time. They traded Andre for nothing, but they still traded him. They bought out Reggie Jackson. He's with the Clippers now. And earlier today, they bought out Markieff Morris, who's now with the Lakers.
Dude, that's going to be nuts to see, Marcus versus Markieff in the Western Conference Finals, because you know that's how it's going to end up.
It's going to be funky.
That's going to be nuts. That's going to be even more of a rivalry than Kawhi versus LeBron.
Who needs LeBron versus Kawhi when you have Marcus versus Markieff?
Oh, yeah.
Reggie versus Alex Caruso. Okay.
The bald man versus
Bobby. Bald versus Bobby.
Oh, yeah. That's a sexy Western Conference Finals right there.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, the Pistons are in full-blown rebuild, and dare I say the dirty T word, they might be tanking. Like,
dude, the fact. Okay, I was so giddy when I found out that they benched Christian Wood last night.
You were giddy?
Last night being Tuesday night, yeah.
That pissed me
Or
off.
Thursday night. No, I was giddy because that is a full tank option. That is what you do when you want to lose.
Casey said it had to do with a matchup against Giannis, but I don't know.
Who cares? You're trying to score points too. Thon doesn't get you points.
It wasn't Thon, it was Sekou.
Ugh.
He started Sekou over him, which I have
didn't he play Thon?
At the center.
Exactly.
Christian Wood's playing at the 4.
Well, he can't play 5. It's like, okay,
Yes.
maybe you put Sekou at 4, you push Christian Wood to 5. They didn't even do that. They put Thon Maker there.
Yeah, I don't... That's not a tank move, by the way. That's a Dwayne Casey move. Thon's been starting at the 5 since Andre got traded.
I don't know. Maybe they slipped a little thing to Casey saying, you know what, let's try to lose this game. Please don't.
Casey's a little sus to me as a head coach, but that's a topic for another day. That's a topic for another
But
day. I'm starting to lose confidence in Casey being the guy, but...
Advertently or inadvertently, that's a tank move of, benching your best scorer on
That's
the
Casey
team.
being Casey, but yes, the Pistons are tanking. I mean, they literally traded Andre for a package of Skittles. They bought out Reggie and Keefe, who...
Now, I did see the complaint of why didn't you get anything for Reggie and Keefe at the trade deadline, and it's like
there's a...
there
Well,
wasn't
anything there.
There wasn't talks about anybody except for Drummond, and that's what you got for him.
And
you think you were going to get a second-round pick for these guys?
And in Ed Stefanski's defense, I agree with him with this standpoint. They traded Reggie Bullock at last year's trade deadline, got a second-round pick in Savianoslav. That was a good move for the Pistons because of Savi coming back. That was a guy the Pistons already scouted and they were high on. At this year's trade deadline, they were only going to get second-round picks for like Keefe and Reggie and Langston. And Ed Stefanski straight up said, I really just didn't want to trade those guys for like the 50th pick. He just
did that with Drummond. It was
well,
even better
Andre's one thing. You have to get him off your books. The Pistons didn't necessarily need to get Reggie and Keefe off. You could have bought them out, which they did. Andre, absolutely not, because you know damn well you would have opted in.
Unless you want to buy him out with the highest buyout money you've ever seen in the NBA history.
Yeah,
like freaking $60 million buyout.
Yeah, but you see my point though. I mean, Ed Stefanski just didn't want to trade those guys away for random second-round picks.
Yeah,
if you want to trade them for like the 30th pick or something, that's worth it. The 50th pick, that's when you start. That's the part of the draft where it's like scrubs. So I get Ed Stefanski
unless
for that.
It's Isaiah Thomas.
Well, that's when you have to be a really, really good drafter. But yeah, I mean, I really didn't hound Stefanski for that. Plus, now seeing that he bought both of them out, I'm not against that whatsoever. Another name we have to look out for now is Langston.
See.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Also,
the Pistons just don't care no more.
Okay. And I know Pistons Twitter is going to hate me.
Uh-oh.
Reggie Jackson's not good enough to honor leaving. People with
What do you
their
mean,
like
honor?
sob tweets. Oh, I'm sorry, Reggie. Good for you. Hope you get a ring. I'm sorry you had to leave.
Well, I do hope he gets a ring.
Screw him.
Oh.
Let the Lakers win.
Oh.
I don't like Reggie.
I
never
know,
did.
I know you don't.
I never liked Reggie.
I think Reggie is good when healthy, but that's the thing. You couldn't say healthy.
Yeah, and it's weird that he's now healthy, now that he's on another team.
He was healthy here.
Yeah, but wasn't he like, oh, I'm going to sit this game?
No, he was playing.
No.
Keith was the one who didn't play last night at the time of recording this. Not injury related. Keith just said, "Get me out." Reggie was willing to stay, but they brought him out.
Reggie's he's sus. If we're talking about people that are sus, Reggie's sus to me.
I don't know about that. I think that's just your inner Reggie hate coming out. But
No, every time we try to win, he's injured.
He was healthy last year.
It's not his fault that he's injured. But
He was healthy last year, all 82 games.
Yeah.
Oh my
I don't
God.
like him. I don't like him.
I know you don't.
I didn't like him when we got him, so I mean,
Oh,
I was kind of built to hate him already.
Well, regardless, though, he's gone. He's with the Clippers now. He's going to play in a playoff race.
Maybe it all stems from the fact that I liked Brandon Jennings more.
Oh, God.
And when Stan Van decided we'd rather have Reggie than Brandon Jennings.
I got it. I know where it stems from. You've always wanted the Pistons to rebuild, and they never did. Has nothing to do with Reggie or Andre.
No, I think it legitimately was because of Brandon Jennings. When he was healthy on the Pistons, Brandon Jennings was way better as a player than Reggie was coming in.
I think it has a little to do with that rebuild thing you were kind of touching on.
Maybe. That was 5 years ago. Who knows at that point?
But regardless, though, the Pistons are doing what you wanted them to do for the longest time.
I'm excited.
Now they're going to suck.
I don't know if they're going to win another game this year.
I went through their schedule the other day with a couple coworkers of mine at WXOU. I think 4. I think they win 4
What does that
games.
put them at? 31 wins? 32?
No, God no. That put them at like 22.
Do they really only have like 19 wins right now?
They're
I thought
19.
They had like
they're
24
19
or something.
They're 19 and 39. That would put them at
wins?
that would
That's
put them at
great.
23 wins, which is perfect.
59 losses. Oh, yes.
That's perfect.
That's great.
But that's also ugly to watch.
I don't care.
Well,
Ugliness.
no, I'm not saying like, oh, they need to win. I'm saying like, I'll just be brutal to actually watch.
Well, guess what? In a rebuild, don't watch the games.
Well, I have to because
Yeah, you have to.
I have to, but no one has to.
You could just box score it.
No, people have called me out on that. People did that with the Red Wings post game recaps.
That's the Red Wings.
No, but no, here's the story. So I used to, like, when I first started the videos, there would be times where I just didn't watch the games. I would do like a recap of it, and people were like, I can tell you didn't watch the game. It's like that obvious. I'm like, oops.
Where it's like a guy had a goal, but he played awful the other 59 minutes.
So I watched one of my old Red Wing post game videos to see what people were talking about, and like I would literally just like,
You're reading off the box score.
I can't even describe it. I was just like reading play by play of each period or whatever. Like you can tell it's scripted almost. So now that's made me like want to watch every game, and I have. So that's good. That's good for my content. But
Now,
I have to watch the Piston
Now
games.
let's get a little bit of behind the scenes. What do you do when there's 2 games on at the same time? You just flip back and forth, or
So
you record the one? And
it depends which game is most important. That goes on the big boy TV. My 4K, like whatever size it
You got
is.
2 screens.
No.
Oh.
I have one big TV and then I have my laptop. So
Okay.
I'll stream the little game on my laptop.
Gotcha.
So like let's say the Pistons and Red Wings, like they're playing on Sunday. Wings at 7, Pistons at 9. I'm going to put the Wings on the big boy TV just because
It's the only game for a while.
that's the first game, and at this point with the Pistons rebuild, I think the Wings are a better watch. So they'll be on the big boy TV until they're done. Pistons will be streaming on the laptop. But yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
In the rare instance where there's 3 games going on at once, TV, laptop,
Phone.
iPad.
Oh.
iPad. Phone is like last resort. I haven't had to go phone yet, but that's last resort.
Okay.
But that's a little Tony D background there.
And then your dad's complaining why his Wi-Fi is all slow.
Jesus, I'm trying to stream a movie here.
I'm just trying to watch some Netflix. Sorry, Dad, I'm watching 6 games in my room right now.
But back to the Pistons though. Yeah, I mean, as someone who's wanted to see this team blow it up for so long, I mean,
It's beautiful.
how are you feeling right now? As you just crossed your leg and you're just like,
I'm hiding the chub.
oh. I looked at John the second he said that.
No, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm elated that they're finally doing it. And just please, I'm seeing people do the tankathon. Like
I do that.
Yeah, it's pretty fun to do.
Tankathon's fun.
Uh,
Unless you're the Red Wings and you drop every effing time and you get scared.
But yeah, I've seen 50-50 on that. I've seen people that have done Tankathon with the Pistons and gotten like 1 a few times, and then I've also seen people that do Tankathon and get like 9 and 10. So I'm scared about that. If we drop in the draft, that would be just so painful. That'd make my heart explode. But I'm pretty excited that I'm seeing a bunch of 1s in people's tweets too.
I've simmed a few times and I've gotten 1.
Yeah.
Which I know that would make you excited because you know who would be going number 1 to the Pistons. Anthony Edwards.
We need a shooting guard, and he's the man.
And I also think Anthony Edwards is a solid player.
Yeah, he's probably the best all-around player in the draft. Like, you got James Wiseman, who'd be a good big man and a good replacement for Drummond, but we don't need another big man.
No. Like, James Wiseman's a fine player, but no. The Pistons just moved off of one center who clogs the paint. I don't need to draft another one.
Yeah.
But no, Tankathon. It's Tankathon season for this Pistons team. I mean, the odds are only going to get higher. I mean, they're going to win maybe 5 games to close out the season.
Where are they right now? 6th or 7th?
I think they're 6.
6th?
Yeah.
All right, this is a good spot to be in. I'd like them to get the 4 or 5 spot. I want them to be in the 4 or 5 seed to get the first draft pick.
I really believe they will.
Those are the best.
I really
Those
believe.
are the prime suspects to get the first pick.
I really think they will. Troy, I mean, you can look at their schedule in your free time, but, like, they have a tough schedule. They are going to, screw it. Let's have some fun. I'm gonna pull up the Pistons remaining schedule. I want you to give me
surfing the net, quality content.
I want you to give me a win or loss. Okay.
All right.
You ready?
I sure hope this isn't like 30 games. It's gonna take like 4 minutes, but
there's 24 games left. But we're gonna go quick.
Okay.
It shouldn't take you that long to go win loss. Okay.
Get
so
used to saying loss over
at
and over.
Trailblazers,
Loss.
at Nuggets,
Loss.
at Suns. That's a thinker.
That's a thinker. I'll go win.
I think they lose that one, but all right. At Kings.
Loss.
I think that's a win. Versus Thunder.
Loss.
Versus Jazz.
Loss.
At Knicks. Loss.
Loss.
They already lost to the Knicks. At Sixers.
Loss.
At Raptors.
Loss.
Versus Magic.
Loss.
Versus Warriors. Thinker.
Loss.
Really?
I'm gonna go loss.
Oh, that's tough.
Warriors still got one good player.
All right, so now here's the fun part of the schedule. Back-to-back nights versus Lakers.
Loss. That's a big loss.
At Milwaukee the next night.
Ooh.
They're gonna lose. They're gonna
Giannis dunking on all.
They're
our
gonna
bruised.
lose. They're gonna lose by a combined like 500-2 in those games. Versus Trailblazers.
Loss.
Versus Clippers.
Loss.
Versus Rockets.
Loss.
At Nets.
Loss.
Versus Heat.
Ooh, they do have a game against the Nets. That's exciting. Loss.
Why is it exciting?
Oh, because I want to see Brandon Knight get
Oh God,
DeAndre Jordan.
No. Versus Heat.
Loss.
At Timberwolves.
Loss.
At Hawks.
Loss.
It's a loss.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
At Heat.
Loss.
At Mavs.
Loss.
Versus Celtics.
Loss.
And the season finale in MSG against the Knicks.
Win. No.
Oh.
I'll give them a win. Why not?
So that's how many wins?
I count 3.
You counted like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So yeah. They are going to be like
22 and 60, 23 and 59, something around there.
They are going to be like prime positioning for the draft lottery.
Yeah.
But I hate the draft lottery so much. Hate it.
Yeah, well, this is the first
It's
year
going to cost the Red Wings Alexis Lafreniere. It's going to cost the Pistons probably, I don't know, some good prospect. Probably LaMelo.
Yeah. Would you like to have LaMelo on this team? Or
I
do you
want
think
LaMelo.
you want LeVar Ball
Dirty
rubbing
little-
elbows with Dwayne Casey?
Dirty little secret. I want LaMelo.
You want LeVar Ball talking to Tom Doris?
LaMelo Ball would bring excitement to the Pistons. It really would, in my opinion.
I think just having the first overall does it anyway,
Well,
regardless.
obviously, but if you can't get the first pick, like let's say they get the third pick, you take LaMelo, and that brings juice to Detroit.
Yeah.
That brings eyes, that puts butts in seats, and that brings juice because of one guy,
That's true.
LaMelo.
That's
Well,
true.
two.
It's like drafting like a Trae Young.
Yes, in a sense.
In a sense, you don't know if
Trae
he's got
Young-
the talent, but he's got the name.
Yes, absolutely. Especially LaMelo because,
Yeah.
Ball, LeVar, never lost. Blasphemy. Okay.
Lonzo. Because Lonzo carries a lot of weight
Oh my
nowadays.
But I mean, it'll be fun to talk draft this summer.
Oh, it's going to be fun to talk about any draft this summer. Every draft.
Especially in the NBA though, because like there's so many good young prospects, Don't listen to this whole talk that it's a weak draft.
Oh, so now you're on board with me.
I've always been on board with you. I've never said it's a weak draft.
Yeah. Yeah, if people are already coming to conclusions about the draft being weak, that's ridiculous.
No, I never said it's a weak draft. My point is though, it's going to be fun to talk about these certain prospects, especially when the Pistons are going to have a good pick.
Oh yeah.
Especially when the Pistons will probably need a point guard. Or in their case, if they get the first pick. If they get the first pick, you have to take Anthony Edwards. But if they don't get the first pick, you'll talk about point guards.
Mm-hmm.
Killian Hayes, LaMelo, Cole Anthony, so on and so forth.
What's your opinion on Killian Hayes? He's getting some major depth from the Detroit Pistons.
I like
Twitter.
Killian Hayes. I really do. I think he's French. I think so. That'd be a
Got
little
the
nice
French connection.
Little nice tie-in with Sekou. But no, I think he has top 5 potential in the draft. So I really like him.
He's been skyrocketing.
Yeah, I like him.
Sure.
There is a small forward / power forward overseas with the name of Denny, who I like.
Denny.
I think he's got a little Luka in him. Not like he's not Luka, but he's got a little Luka in him. Like he's shooting 55% from the field this season. So like this kid can shoot.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one
I'd
guy.
be scared to do that with a high pick. You'd like the whole off season. You'd have this whole, oh boy, Pistons took a overseas player with a high draft pick.
Well, that's like if none of their favorite point guards are there.
Yeah.
Like that's like if you fall in the draft and you're like, God damn, well, Denny it is.
Yeah, if he like dropped to 8 or something.
Yeah. But
Now, this is the first draft with the new draft odds. Is it? I haven't.
Well,
really...
last year was the first year.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so that makes sense why the Lakers jumped all the way up to the top.
Why the Pelicans shot up and the Grizzlies shot up. Yes.
Okay. I like that.
And it's going to be the reason why the Pistons shoot up.
I enjoy it. And
it's going to be the reason why the Red Wings don't win the lottery. I swear to God, if they don't win the lottery, we're not doing this podcast.
Dude, it's like a
It's
punishment.
over.
It's like a punishment to be the worst team in the league in both basketball and hockey.
Especially in the Wings case. They're awful by a long shot, and they might not get the first pick. And they're going to not get a generational type talent.
See, if I was the commissioner of both leagues, I would just make it so that the first or the worst team gets the first pick, period. And then the rest of it's the lottery.
I think it
Would you
depends.
agree with
I
that?
think it depends. If you're like the Red Wings and they're like far and away the worst team, I think you have to give them the first pick.
Oh, then
But
it's
if it's
opinionated. It's a judgment call. I wouldn't leave it up to that. I'd go worst team.
If the team in last place is in last place by, in the Wings case, like over 20 points, I think you can make an argument. Screw it. Just give them the first
No,
pick.
that's for hockey. Would you do that for basketball?
So
as
let's
well?
say basketball-wise. Let's say the Warriors are the worst team and they have like, between the first team and the second team, there's like a 15-win difference. Absolutely. But if there's like a 6-win difference, then no.
Dude, you'd be talking like you'd have to win 15 games or less at that point.
That's how bad the Red Wings are. The Wings have like 15 wins this year. They're so bad. And they might not get Alexis Lafreniere because of it. I swear to God, if they lose the lottery, you're not going to hear from me. You're going to be doing this pod by yourself. You'll be like, you'll be with an empty chair. You'll be like, well, Tony's not here today.
I'll be interviewing an empty chair. I'll just be like, so Tony, what do you think about that? And then freaking dead air for 10 minutes.
It'll be this.
Yeah, it'll be that.
Yeah, don't call me if they lose the lottery. I'll be drinking. I'll be out of it.
I'll FaceTime you.
Hey, Tony. I'll just dead stare the phone.
All right.
But I think that's a decent end to the Pistons talk.
Yep.
I mean, we'll have more Pistons talk going forward because of the draft and stuff like that. I will
Plus,
say
they
that
still got 4 games to win, so.
I do want to mention this, though. Not that the Pistons are going to, like, spend it in the offseason or anything, but remember when the Pistons didn't have cap space?
Let's not talk about cap space and free agency with this team.
No.
I really hope they don't use it.
No, I just said it's not like they're going to use it, but remember when they didn't have cap space? They're going to go into the summer with 36 mil.
I do remember that big thing about, like, well, the Pistons are in they're in like freaking dead cap space with a 41-41 record.
Not anymore. 36
That's
mil.
nice.
Again,
That's
they're not
nice.
going to spend it, but I mean, I shouldn't say that. They got to resign
They
Christian.
better not spend it.
They got
That's
to
what you
they
should
got to
say.
resign Christian Wood.
Well, okay, you can spend it a little.
That's what I was about to say. They still got to sign Christian Wood. They're probably going to get like kind of like Derrick Rose deals, like cheap veterans.
By the way, trade Derrick Rose during the draft, please.
I was about to say we can't right now.
During the draft.
I
don't want him on the team next year.
If they're going to be rebuilding, no, there's really no point. I mean, this year there's nothing you can do because of the market, but yeah.
I want 2 draft picks, 2 high draft picks, so that means you got to tank next year too. I want 2 high draft picks and a boatload of salary. And then we can get this thing underway.
So you're looking at the 2021 free agency.
Yes, sir.
You know that's like really stacked. So we'll see.
Yes, sir.
We'll see. Anywho, on to our final topic of the day. The Houston Astros. I'm curious because you don't know what I'm about to tell you.
No, I mean, I saw it in the news, but I didn't look into it because in my mind, for some reason, I was attributing this to the Astros news day where all the people were like fake apologizing, including Verlander.
Mm-mm.
And I just kind of threw this in with that. So, yeah, I didn't look into what he actually said. So, what
the
happened?
commissioner of Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, spoke. He was asked about, like, why the punishment towards the Astros was kind of not as severe as people thought it would be, why the players weren't suspended at all, when you suspended the GM and the manager for a year, so on and so forth. And he was also asked why he didn't strip the World Series title. In essence, he said that it really didn't matter if they stripped the World Series because then that quote, it's just a piece of metal. So, he really didn't feel like stripping the World Series title would do anything. He didn't feel like, he didn't feel like suspending the players would do anything. He really didn't think doing any of that stuff would impact the punishment.
Okay,
and people are pissed, as they should be.
By
That's
saying
ridiculous.
by saying that the World Series title
Is
is
a piece of
just
metal.
a piece of metal, he has destroyed his own sport.
That's what some players have said. Like Justin Turner of the Dodgers, he's like, well, his name is on the trophy, so he's kind of bashing himself.
He's destroyed his own sport. He's basically said to every single player that is competing to win this that, hey, this is useless. What the hell are you guys doing? He's telling everybody that is underneath them, this is absolutely pointless. Why do you guys even try? Just by saying that there's no value in it.
And people are pissed by it, as they should be. That's such a bad comment. And he's since kind of retracted it in a sense, but he said what he said.
Yeah. His first take, people usually kind of say what they mean the first time around.
And also, like I said, he mentioned how he didn't suspend the players because he didn't really feel like that would punish them in a sense, which is again kind of stupid. I understand you have to suspend the GM and the manager and everything because like they were running this organization, like they should be punished. But like the players are the ones actually doing it.
Yeah.
And here's another thing, Troy. So Rob Manfred has since sent out a memo to every major league team saying that if you're going to plunk any of the members of the Astros, you're going to get punished. So let's say game 1, they're facing the Angels. Let's say the Angels pitcher plunks Altuve in the ass with a baseball, he'll get suspended for like 15 games. Meanwhile, the guys who are banging on the trash cans, no punishment whatsoever. Kind of like a slap on the wrist.
Okay. A team gets plunked like 65 times in a single season. That's just on average for any regular season.
No, like purposefully plunked. They're going to drill him. He said you're going to get punished if you purposely throw a baseball at them. Meanwhile, the guys who did the trash can banging and cheated and admitted to it, they don't get suspended. People are pissed by that too. And I kind of agree with that, as do you by that statement. Wow. How do you feel about that?
Big wow.
This has gone so far that like LeBron James is reacting to it.
Yeah. By the way, that hashtag was ridiculous.
That was
your hashtag should not be longer than your real tweet.
I got his message though.
Yeah, I get it.
But you're speechless.
This is unprecedented. This is ridiculous.
It's a disaster.
This is awful.
It's a disaster.
And honestly, if there's anybody that should lose their job the most out of this whole fiasco at this point, it's him.
There are people saying he's not really handling this well, and they don't know if he's fit.
I think he might be the worst culprit in this entire scandal.
Like, I don't understand how you make excuses to back up the players who did this.
Yeah.
Like, they cheated, and they admitted to it.
You're defending the people that are spitting in your face.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling. I love what the players of other teams are saying about it.
Did you see Cody Bellinger, what he said?
Woo, yeah, I did.
The Dodgers player?
I saw, yeah.
Jesus,
I saw Cody Bellinger's. I saw Aaron Judge's comments.
Aaron Judge is pissed. Because he felt like he got robbed of the MVP that year, which he did.
I also listened to Joe Girardi's comments, and those were... He was very okay with it.
Because he lost his job because of them.
Well, I mean, he's found another job, so I feel
like
he found some peace in it in a weird way.
But he still was one of the people, like the Yankees fired him after the 2017 season.
Yeah. Yeah,
he's not the only one. Like, people have lost their jobs and are not in baseball right now because of the Houston Astros.
There's a lawsuit about it.
Yeah. Hugh Darvish, his career really hasn't been the same since 2017 when he was with the Dodgers and they play in the World Series, obviously. Yep. He had like a 6 ERA in the World Series. Now, his career really hasn't been the same, and he's like, yeah, they suck over there. Mike Trout, Troy, is one of the nicest human beings you might ever see. Like, this guy, I've never seen him say a bad word about anybody in anything. Members of the media, people he works and plays with, whatever.
It's stellar.
He looks like a very nice human being. He talked trash about the Astros. He's like, yeah, I lost a lot of respect for guys over there. I'm like, wow. Like, Jesus, even Mike Trout's pissed off. And
you can't even you can't even defend the just off the field responses of these guys.
Imagine being an Astros fan. You can't defend this.
No. Imagine just being a Houston fan around this time. The Rockets, too.
Oh, Lord. Detroit's got it worse, but that's not exactly great. The Rockets are heading towards a rebuild.
At least their radio shows are pretty packed.
Texans are, they got their GM as a head coach. Rockets are doing their thing. Yeah. Astros are cheaters. They're cheaters. But no, I mean, this has just gone to such high levels that the commissioner himself started.
Ugh.
And we're at that time in the baseball season where we should be happy. Like, it's like, spring training is starting up.
As Tiger fans, I don't know.
Well, baseball fans.
Yeah, baseball.
You should be excited because baseball's starting up. It's almost summertime and springtime. Warm weather's coming. Like, this is usually an exciting time of the year, but there's just such a dark cloud hanging over Major League Baseball right now. And it's seriously one of the biggest, scandals in sports. And it's not going anywhere. We still have to wait to see what the Red Sox punishment is going to be because they did the same exact thing in 2018. There's reports that other teams are doing it.
Is the Red Sox allegedly, or is that a full-on...
Well, they didn't bang on trash cans, but they used technology to steal signs.
Okay, that's 100% fact. You're not
Well,
not making claims.
Major League Baseball is investigating it, so I would imagine they said they're going to find.
Let's just throw an allegedly out there for the Red Sox, just for now.
They allegedly stole signs using technology.
There we go.
And it's very likely they're going to get punished for it because Alex Cora got fired. So you can take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Alex Cora wouldn't be fired if he was innocent. So
Hey, I mean, does your father know what happened?
my father,
Yeah, Dave.
Dave, it's my uncle. I thought you were talking about my real dad. I'm like, no. Dave, he's not there anymore.
Wasn't he there for the World Series run?
He was, but he got fired last offseason.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd figure.
I mean, I'm sure Uncle Dave knew what was happening. Didn't say anything. And speaking of not saying anything, I mean,
That's probably honestly why he got fired. I mean,
no, he ran that team into the ground like he did the Tigers. Except the Red Sox had the balls to do what was right and fire him before they started a rebuild.
That's true.
Tigers,
that's a true winning organization right there.
The Tigers said, okay, we're going to allow you to try to pick up your scraps, and that failed completely because he picked up the scraps a little bit in 2015, and then
he just couldn't help himself. He tried to push it.
he was going to try to go for it again. The Tigers were like, no, stop. So they fired him. And now Al Avila's here. We know how that's going. But anywho, speaking of guys not speaking up, I know he's like a darling here, but JV looks really bad in this.
JV has lost all integrity for me.
Like
I have no respect for that man.
Justin
anymore.
Verlander used to be like so outspoken about like stealing signs is bad, and then he goes to the Astros and
does it.
Listen, Mike Fiers came out and said straight up, yeah, they were stealing signs over there. He's being called a snitch for it, but
honestly,
he did the right thing, if we're being real here.
Yeah.
Because if they weren't caught, the Astros, guess what, would still be banging on those trash cans.
Yep, you're looking at your 2020
World Series champs. Absolutely, because they would know what's coming every single time. JV didn't speak up.
With those alleged buzzers, too.
Now, that's another thing. I mean, Major League Baseball, they're investigating it as we speak. I don't know if they'll find anything, but
Oh boy.
it's so fishy.
That Carlos Correa comment about
He had
Altuve's
he had a
jersey.
he had a bad tattoo, and then Altuve
With
blamed
all the Photoshop tattoos on Altuve's chest after the play happened, when you could actually see Altuve with his shirt off with no tattoo.
So Jose, why'd you go to the locker room afterwards? I had to change my shirt because my wife doesn't like when I take my shirt off.
That's a bad excuse. You couldn't have just said tattoo.
Had to blame his wife. While Correa, on the other hand, was like, yeah, he's got a bad tattoo. Okay, so both your stories aren't aligning. That's cool. But yeah, Justin, like, he didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything, and his apology was absolute trash.
At least JD Martinez is sticking up for his team. Like, JD, he pulled a Mark D'Antonio. He was like, we didn't do what the Astros were doing, so you can come at us. Like, we didn't steal we stole signs, but we didn't do what they did. We didn't bang on trash cans. Like, JD was up front with it, and that's why people still respect JD.
Honestly, with the Red Sox, it's like a weird thing where, yeah, they stole signs, but it's kind of not that bad.
It's different. They still sold signs using technology, which is bad. But they weren't sitting there going, oh, it's a curveball.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. The fact that they were banging on trash cans to know what was happening. But yeah, as like a non-baseball type of guy, I mean, you're like kind of speechless by this.
Oh, I mean, I've loved this story since it came out. I mean,
It's juicy.
I'm not fully in the storylines of baseball, but this one I am. You know, I'm listening to every response. I mean, I didn't know the full Rob Manfred comments, but now that you tell them to me, I do know of people responding to these comments. I didn't hear these comments directly, and gosh, I've been eating all of it up. And this is exciting. I can't wait to see. Over under. Players that do get plunked.
For the Astros? I think
15. setting it at 15.
Over. The Vegas odds is like 68.
Well, that's including regular plunks. If you take out those.
Well over.
Well over?
I think people aren't going to give a shit. Like, they're going to be like, you suck. Take this meatball off the cheek. And, yeah, they're going to get suspended for it, which is stupid, but...
I think there might be like a outbreak of suspensions to the point where they're going to be like, all right, forget it. There's going to be like 30 suspensions.
I think it's going to get to a point where Rob Manfred might have to pull back his card in a sense, and he might have to punish these guys. Because, like, the backlash he's getting is so... Oh.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not suspend these guys? I just don't... I don't get that. And then how do you make excuses for them? I just...
Can you imagine things like the steroid scandal, and then this, and then Major League Baseball sets record for most suspensions for players getting balls thrown at their faces.
It's going to be a really interesting season. The Astros are still one of the favorites to win the World Series, but...
I don't see how they would be at this point. I feel like they're a good team, but without stealing signs... They weren't good enough to win the World Series.
I think everyone is going to bring their A game against the Astros now. Even like a crappy team like the Tigers, they are going to want to kick the shit out of the Astros.
Oh my god! I feel like the Tigers are gonna try and light up like a guy like Verlander.
Even if the Tigers are tanking, like let's say the Tigers are playing the Astros in like September when it's full tank mode. Even during their little 3-game stretch, I think the Tigers could be like, these guys suck. Let's go beat their ass.
That's gonna be somehow that's gonna be a good 2-game or 2 series to watch during the season.
And that's just the Tigers. Imagine in the playoffs. Like imagine if the Yankees and the Astros face each other in the playoffs. Oh my god. The Yankees would become like people would start to root for the Yankees in that series. I would root for the Yankees. Screw the Astros.
It'd be shades of 2017 because the Yankees were the favorites among the entire, baseball crowd to win that. They people actually were rooting for the Yankees in 2017.
They were.
Now it's going to be even worse.
The Yankees in 2017 were a good story in the sense that they were just like, they were rebuilding.
They were
and
baseball darlings.
They popped off. Yeah. They were the baby bombers. Baby
bombers? I like that.
They were called the baby bombers, yeah, because they had Judge and Sanchez who were rookies. But yeah, if like the Astros and the Yankees play, the Yankees would become America's darling. People would be like, hell yeah, go Yankees. And just think about that for a second.
If you're a Red Sox fan,
you would root for the Yankees.
That's how you know you messed up.
Think about that for a second, Troy. Everyone hates the Yankees. And if they face the Astros in a playoff matchup, people would absolutely root for the Yankees. Absolutely. People hate the Dodgers, too. I guarantee you if the Dodgers and Astros play in the World Series, LA all day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a really, really interesting season. And like I said, people are going to bring their A game against the Astros. So we'll see. But anything else you want to touch on here before we close out?
Not really, unless you do want to bring in a little bit of Beilein. If you want to bring that up real quick.
I know
can bring it up real quick. It's
all
fine.
right. So yeah, John Beilein stepped down. He got fired as the head coach of the Cavaliers. Obviously former Michigan basketball head coach. As a Michigan basketball guy or just a Michigan guy in general, what are your thoughts on
Bring him back.
Oh God.
I want him.
What's wrong with Juwan Howard?
Fire Juwan.
Oh Lord.
I want Beilein back. There's no basketball team in college like a Beilein ran basketball team.
So what about all the 5-star recruits that Juwan Howard's getting in here?
Beilein would make them freaking NBA stars.
Oh God. All right, that's a good way to end the show.
Well, yeah, I'm going a little far, but I mean, he's available now, and he did not leave on bad terms with Michigan.
Well,
I mean, they wanted him back.
I don't think he left on good terms.
Yeah.
He just kind of got up and left.
Yeah, and we're like
May,
and we're like, oh, okay.
Oh, whoa! Beilein's going to the Cavs. Where did this come from? Who the hell are we gonna hire? It wasn't Mark D'Antonio level, but it was close. Like
Yeah.
it was late.
It's more like a Tucker level.
It was in the middle of May.
It's more like what
Beilein-
Tucker did to Colorado.
Beilein just got up and left. It's like, whoa, all right. Well, now we have to look for a head coach in May. Nice. We're playing our Memorial Day barbecue, and now we have to find our head coach.
Actually, no, it's not what Tucker did to Colorado because everybody in Colorado thought he's like the ultimate, like he's like Judas betraying the Colorado Buffalo.
They're still pissed about that.
They are. I still see that, but no.
But yeah, Beilein.
I'd still want him. I mean,
Well,
even
if
though
you're-
he left, like he's way better than what Juwan Howard's doing right now.
Well, I don't think Michigan fans are. I think more Michigan fans aren't along those lines.
You don't think so?
Absolutely not. Michigan's going to be really good next year because of the guys that he's bringing in there.
Well, hopefully.
Michigan's in a good spot with Juwan
Hopefully.
Howard. I'm not afraid to admit that.
He might be. I'm curious to see if his coaching can catch up to his recruiting.
Juwan, you'll find out next year.
Yes,
But
sir.
as for John Beilein, I mean, you kind of hinted at it. If he wants another job at the college gig, he'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
Just really depends who and if he wants to coach again. Because Woj reported that he's contemplating just walking away, which that would be unfortunate for him to end. But
Well, Izzo might be walking out pretty soon.
John Beilein would never come to Michigan State. Absolutely not. I would love that, but that's no.
You don't think that's
Beilein's too loyal to the University of Michigan. Absolutely not.
Well, he doesn't really treat the rivalry the way that it deserves to be
It
treated.
doesn't mean
so
he would come
maybe-
to State. Absolutely not. He would not come to Michigan State. That's turncoat right there.
Well, the fact that I brought up Izzo leaving and you didn't immediately trying to punch me in the face, do you think that's a real possibility at the end of the year?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was a possibility last year if they would have won. They didn't win. But no, I don't think it's crazy to think that Izzo's in his final stretch here. I don't think this will be his last year, but if I had to give you an over-under of 5 years, I'd say under.
Oh, 5 years is a pretty long time, honestly.
But
If you were to say over under 2 years,
over. I'd say at least probably 3. But that's still that's
yeah,
it's fast. It goes quick. So, I mean, how old is Tom Izzo?
Like 72, 71. I think he's early 70s.
65.
Oh, okay.
That's still
People talk about him like he's ancient. I mean, 65 is not.
he's been here for a while. So,
Yeah.
but no, I mean, he's 65 years old. I mean, how much longer does he really want to do this? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think Beilein's the same age.
Beilein's 67. So
Yeah, even older. So, I mean, the fact that people are still talking about Beilein still wanting to coach, but with a possibility of walking away, I mean, he's got years on him.
Beilein?
No,
Izzo?
Izzo.
Oh.
He's got years left.
No, I still think, like I said, Izzo's got like 3 years left, but not over 5. But we'll see, though. I'm pissed at Michigan State anyway. The entire athletic department, the entire university in general, don't like them.
Yep. And
We'll talk about them once we get closer to March Madness.
did you get all stands by the Beilein news?
What do you mean?
Did Stans get you with that Andre Drummond comment?
No.
That was funny. I read that. I immediately knew it was fake, but
I checked the @ now. I checked the @ Stans has only got me once,
yeah,
but
he's only gotten me once too.
did you see Andre responded to that?
Yeah, I did see the comment under that was like, dude, you guys are crazy.
Andre responded to Stans. I don't remember what exactly he said.
By the way, I mean, I'm sure Pistons Twitter is like 99% of the audience, but in case you
They know who Andre Stans is.
In case you don't know, because like people like my dad wouldn't know who he is. Andre Stans is a Twitter account that will make up stories and pass them off as real, and people buy into it pretty quickly, and it's become a virus on Detroit sports Twitter.
So here's Drummond's response. 5 crying face emojis. Y'all dragging this now! Exclamation point. I'm not about to keep explaining myself. ... Enjoy making up stories.
Dude, I feel like he's pissed off at all of us.
Can't believe Stan's got Andre Drummond. I remember seeing that. I'm like, no, no, he got him.
I mean, vice versa. Drummond got Stans.
Stan's got Drummond. He got him to bite into it.
Stans got Drummond.
Andre Stans.
Drummond did or Drummond?
No, Drummond didn't. Drummond got Stansed, but Stans got Andre Drummond to fall for it, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say just Drummond got Stans. Pretty good.
I mean, ooh.
How do you get stansed by something that you didn't say?
I don't know, dude. I don't know what Andre Drummond's up to these days.
His twist locks are a little too tight.
I'm scrolling on Twitter now. I see that you're following my burner.
I love it.
So this guy, he runs like a Detroit sports account, and he's been following me for a while. He's nice, but like he reached out to me. He's like, "Has anyone ever made a burner meme account of you?" I'm like, "Many have tried, many have failed." He's like, "I will succeed." I'm like, "Bet." He cracks me up with every post he has. So I gave him a shout out today. He's up to like 60 followers now.
Dude, I followed him at 15 followers.
He's at 60 now.
He's about to pass me already.
Oh no. Oh no. Please follow Troy. All right. I think that's a good way to close out this episode.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. Thank you for listening to episode 8 of Aggressively Speaking. For John, thank
Troy.
you.
No problem.
Yeah. Have a great rest of your week, ladies and gentlemen.